Hello and welcome to this edition of the COLAC Herald Sports Smash. I'm Lachlan, Cowlishaw, and beside me is Ben Martin. How's it going, Ben?
It's going well, Lachlan.
That's good to hear. We've just completed round 5 of COLAC District Netball and Football. As always, make sure you buy Wednesday's edition of the COLAC Herald to get you all the other sports fix that you have there. Of course, the Sports Match we've just noticed getting a touch long, so we like to focus on the netball and football. And without much further ado, let's get stuck in the football with Ben.
Thanks, Lachlan. Plenty of exciting news in football, still in COLAC District football action. The first game on the agenda today, Forest v Alvey. Now this was, I suppose, wasn't expected to be very close, but it ended up being one of the closest of the round. Forest ended up coming away with a very handy 6-point win. 3 unanswered goals from Alvey, almost stole an upset there. But the Lions have come away 11-12-78 to 11-6-72 winners there. So they've claimed they're still undefeated there. So well done to Forest. Jared Matheson kicked 3, Scotty Wakeman kicked 2, while their best was Scott Werner and Matt Aylwin. While for Alvey, Tom McCrickard kicked 4, Phil McCarthy and Mitch Williamson each chipped in 2. While James Fleming was best for the Swans, in the absence of other tools like Alex and Ed Gunning. In the next game, COLAC Imperials v Otway Districts. Now this was shaping up as another close game, but unfortunately Imps stole the show. They led all, from start to finish and come away with a very handy 14-10-94 to 6-7-43 victory. Now, they had plenty of goal kickers on the day, which makes it hard for Otway's defenders. Steve Parker, Bo Fenton, Tim Keys, Craig Williams, they all come away with 2 goals for the day. A couple other guys had singles. Andrew Scott and Cole Roberts were their best, so they were really impressive across the ground. Martin Angus, the young fella, kicked 2 goals and was in the best for the Demons, alongside Aaron Marnie and Luke Burnett, who play well against his junior side there. The next game, Illawarra Beac v Western Eagles. Now this was one that I guess a lot of people thought the Bombers were going to take away, but the Eagles have surprised a few people. They're travelling pretty well without claiming the wins now. It's similar to the way they did against Beery. They won the first, third and fourth quarters. But 5 unanswered goals in the second to the Bombers, that doesn't really help your team's chances.
Yep.
So Illawarra Bears claimed a 12-13-85 to 11-4-70 victory there. Joel Menzies and Jordan Smith, they've been performing well, the young forwards for the Bombers. They combined for 5 goals in Saturday's match, while Troy Keating and Jaden Angus were their best. And for the Eagles, Mark Carson, the coach, and a couple of other recruits, Reece Burke and Jake Reed, kicked 2 each, while some homegrown players there for the Eagles, Nathan McNamara and Matt Kenny, were the best for that side. Lawn v Birregurra is the next one. Now this was shaping up as the match of the round. A couple of finals
match for both sides.
That's right, a couple of finals from last year. But Lawn definitely stamped their authority on the league. They're up and about. They're probably in the top 3 top performers in the league at the moment, and they showed why at the weekend. They won 13-7-85 to 6-8-44 in front of a home crowd at the Stribling Reserve. Luke Norton kicked 5, along with his partner in crime, Ryan Evans. He chipped in with 3.
It's PIC.
That's right. Now, Rick White, I think it was Lawrence backline did most of the damage. They restricted Birregurra to just 1 goal in the first half. Now that goes a long way to securing your side a victory. Rick White led the way for the Dolphins in the back half, while Emilio Graziani, I hope I'm saying that right, restricted dangerous spearhead Christian Kelly to just 2 goals. Tommy Grayling was the best for the Saints, while a couple of young guys, Jack Mellick and Tom Cotton, Ollie Butler, also led the way for the Saints. Simpson v Apollo Bay. Now this was the game that was going to answer a lot of questions. Simpson obviously had not yet to score a win. Apollo Bay undefeated. Now the game was going to answer how good actually are Apollo Bay, how far have they come, have Simpson dropped off at all. Now the results in the way of the Tigers come through with a pretty handy 14-10-94 to 6-8-44 win there. So a bit of work to do for Apollo Bay, but it's definitely asserted Simpson as one of the teams to beat again. Pretty good for Jace Cartwright to get his first win as a new coach as well. Now, Simpson led by just 3 points at half time, but 9 goals to 1 in the second half. Pretty much stamped that game there for the Tigers. They had 10 goal kicks on the day, with Cartwright leading the way there with 3. Luke Will, Adam Courtney and Jaden McVilly were the Tigers' best. For Apollo Bay, Casey McDonald kicked 3, Hamish Tamlin kicked 2. Was also among the best alongside assistant coach Tim Smith there. straight into GFL news now. That's it for the CFL. Now, not great news for the Tigers, lot.
Yep, tough game here for them.
Yeah, well, it was definitely a winnable match there coming up against Lara. They both had the same record heading into the match, but the Cats have come a very, very convincing win there. They've come away 23-25, 163 to 10-8, 68 winners there. So almost 100-point winners there. Now, it was 6 goals each in the first quarter, and the Tigers trailed by 2 at quarter time, but kicked just 4 goals after that, while Lara slammed on another 17. So that really hurts your team. Shaden Bloomfield, the recruit for Lara, did most of the damage with 13. He was best on ground for the Cats, while for the Tigers, Dan Casey kicked 4, Jake Carmody kicked 2, while Cal Buchanan, Dan Jeffries, Russ Wyford and Andrew Kelly all chipped in with singles. Luke Theodore was the Tigers' best there, so definitely one to forget, and hopefully Matt Gibson and his boys can rebound and bounce back next week.
In the words of Gibbo, I think he said they were just simply terrible, so plenty to work on during the week.
Yeah, that's right. And now TAC Cup news there to finish the football. Now the Falcons are back in form. They've bounced back from a loss last week. They've defeated the Calder Cannons 12-15-87 to 6-9-45. That was at Simmons Stadium, so a home game there for the Falcons. They led all day and come away with a 6-goal win there, so a hard-earned victory, and well done to Andy Althorpe and his boys.
Well done, boys.
The COLAC District fellows who performed well, Sam Gordon travelling very well. He kicked another haul of 6 goals, while Darcy Lane kicked 2, and Cody Spokes, the young COLAC Tigers there, he chipped in with a single. Gordon and Lane both in the best place, so well done to the Falcons, and hopefully they can keep that going. That's it for the football for this week. Now I'll pass you over to Lachlan with the netball.
Thank you, Ben. Let's get stuck into the netball now, and as always, let's get stuck into the GFL netball first. As we heard, COLAC took on Lara Cats down at Bisanella Oval, and COLAC Tigers got their second netball win of the season. They ran out 54-36 winners over the Cats. It was a tightly contested match, and Rebecca Finn was really happy with the job that the defenders did on the dangerous Lara goalers. That's Emma Hillman and Sarah Hay. They certainly played excellent games. Shelley Scott made a return to the mid-court, so that's exciting for the Tigers. And young Talia Jeffries, she put in a best on-court performance from wing defence. So that's some really exciting signs from their young players there. The goals were Courtney Coulahan netted 28, Caitlin Hammond had 26, and she did some excellent work with her offensive rebounding in the attacking end. Gemma Barnes had 22 for Lara. The best for COLAC, as I mentioned, was young Talia Jeffries. Caitlin Hammond and Sarah Hay also in the best, and for Lara, Gemma Barnes got the votes there. Just a quick look at the ladder. COLAC are actually sitting 6th now with a 2-3 record. They're just outside the top 5 by a game, and hopefully from now on they can really hit their straps and push into that top 5 contention, which is certainly their aim, as is everyone's aim, to play finals and see what they can do from there. COLAC District netball news now. Let's just wander over there and see what was going on. The first game was a bit of a whitewash. It was COLAC Imperials versus Otway Districts. Imperials ran out 72-26 winners. Rebecca Scott helped herself to 54 goals. Candy Robbins was her foil once again with 15 goals. For Otway Districts, Nadine Oborn had 14 goals. And in the best for COLAC Imperials, Elise Howard, the COLAC Tigers recruit from last season, continuing her good form. And Otway District's Megan Spokes was best on court there. So the Imperials just going about their business. Otway District showed a little bit of fight. Coach Eva Vickers was not too upset, and plenty to work on for them there. Now to the match of the round. Western Eagles took on Illawarra Biak, and you wouldn't believe it, the Bombers have had their second loss. That is the first time in about 5 years, something like that anyway. Western Eagles couldn't remember the last time they beat the Bombers. I think it was maybe in the early 2000s. They got the points 37-34 down at Irrawillippi, which was also the pink day for cancer down there, which was across the whole rounds, and we'll have reports for that about that in the COLAC Herald for you. Young gun Danielle Bowen scored 25 goals, Jenny Fish with 12 for Western Eagles. Illawarra Biak Casey Johnson, 28 goals, a little bit down on her normal output. Danielle Bowen got the votes for Western Eagles, and Chelsea Hillman, last year's competition best and fairest, she got the votes for Illawarra Biak. They play Simpson next week, and Simpson took on Apollo Bay, and although they won 51-24. Coach Suzanne Spokes is a bit worried about their form. In patches of play, they let Apollo Bay dominate the game, such as the second quarter. for the rest of the game, they played reasonably well, but the coach there is just not happy with the Tigers' output at the moment. So that's going to be a massive match against Illawarra Biak, and Illawarra Biak might lose 3 in a row. That's the first time in history, but let's focus back on this game for a moment. Jessie Hawkins netted 29 goals. Young gun Caitlin McPhilly had 22. She's starting to hit her straps in the top grade after playing 17s last year. Laura Taylor and Annie Legault had 21 goals between them. The best for Simpson was Ashley Spokes, and the best for Apollo Bay was Katrina Deinhoven. 2 games to go now. We've got Forest versus Elvie. Elvie won pretty convincingly in this one, really dominated after quarter time, where Forest put up a good fight, but they couldn't get the points. 42-26 was the final score. Lions coach Stephanie Ryans just wants them to put in that 4-quarter effort, be competitive for 4 quarters. They can do it for 1 or 2, but not for 4. That'll be a continuing theme this year, while Elvie back on the winners list after their loss to Western Eagles last week, but as we heard, Western Eagles are in pretty good form. Goals for Elvie: Chelsea McLeod had 26. For Forest, Jenna Day had 14. In the best was Morgan Eldridge for Elvie and Jessie Kerr for Forest. The final game we have for you is Lorne versus Birregurra. Lorne had a comfortable win, 59-32. Birregurra, again, one of those teams that can be competitive in places, but certainly not for 4 quarters at this stage with their young list. The goals for Lorne: Eliza Larkin had 44. Carly Endicott, rather. Forgive that mispronunciation, Carly. She's having a super season. She had 15 goals, and she's featuring in the COLAC Herald MVP votes as well, so could win herself a television there if she keeps playing well. The best for Lorne was Shelley Ryan, and the best for Birregurra was Brianna Butterworth, so well done to those players there. Let's just have a quick look at the ladder. We've got COLAC, Imperial, Simpson, Western Eagles, South COLAC, and Illawarra Biak in an unfamiliar 5th spot. Lorne and Elvie just outside the 5 in 5th and 6th place. So from about 4th down to 8th or 9th, it's still very tight and competitive. The top sides are sort of skirting away there at the top, but it's pretty exciting. It's going to be an exciting season, particularly with Illawarra Biak struggling a bit, and we'll see how it all plays out. Now for our favourite part of the show, and to wrap it up, the COLAC Herald Sportsman of the Week, and we've decided to give it to young gun Sam Gordon. He's kicked 14 goals for the Geelong Falcons in 3 weeks. He's just playing really well, Ben, and he probably deserves the award this week. That's
right, the young Camperdown forward there. Now, the Falcons took a bit of a gamble. They threw him a lifeline last season. Obviously, he missed out in the AFL draft as a top-age Falcon. Obviously, with the Falcons, they've got about four 19-year-old spots, so they've given Sam one of these spots, and he's just taken that opportunity with both hands and ran with it. So he's, as you said, 14 goals in 3 weeks. He's really hitting some top form since being given the opportunity, and yeah, he's just travelling as good as anyone in the competition at the moment.
He's literally taken it with 2 hands, taken a few marks, kicking a few goalskis. Well done, Sam. You certainly deserve this week's COLAC Herald Sportsman of the Week. And that wraps it up for us. We've got round 6 coming up. Don't forget to tune in to OCR FM 98.3. I should know that by now, but that's the Locker Room Sports Show featuring Ben and myself, 5 p.m. Friday. Tune into your radio dials there. From me, Lachlan, and from Ben, it's goodbye, and we'll see you next week.